Alright guys, look at this graph. This is where kids leave a map. And notice something. They don't always leave randomly, alright? It's spread out. So they leave at a few specific spots. For example, right here at the start. Then again a bit later from the start. And then this one where it goes up. And then they leave at like, almost at the very end, which is pretty interesting, right? Most of you guys haven't actually seen this. Most maps I look at, they leave in the first like 1 minute. Sometimes they leave in the first 5 minutes. But I've had maps where they leave in like 15 minutes. So 3 different spots. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Every one of these drops is a different problem with different reason and a different thing. So in this video, I'm going to walk you guys through all 3. And why kids bail at the start, why they bail in the middle, and then why they sometimes bail at the end. Because that's what you want, right? You want people to actually leave at almost the end. And I'll tell you guys exactly how to fix each one. So by the end of this, you'll be able to look at your own graph and see exactly what's wrong. So let's go. So let's start with the biggest one, okay? The first drop off in the first few minutes. Like this is where you lose most of the kids. If you lose them here, then the entire game you made is pointless. And it's the same reason almost every time they don't get hooked. So here's what I mean. In every single map, there is one moment where a kid actually feels fun for the first time, right? So that could be, his first upgrade. That could be his first, his brain rot he stole from someone else. His first win. That moment where it kind of clicks for him and goes, oh, this is actually fun, right? And that first drop we talked about, it's all the kids who actually quit before they even reach that moment, which is very important because this isn't just my opinion. This is how the biggest companies in the world, like on Earth, think. That there's a concept that's called the activation point. And it's basically the very first moment that someone feels that your thing basically pays off. So Facebook found this out in their data, which is extremely important. They figured out that it turns out, right? So if a new person added 7 friends on Facebook, guys, in the first 10 days of them being on Facebook, they figured out that they would basically never leave. Okay, they would never churn. They would use Facebook forever. So Facebook built their entire app around one thing, and that's just getting you to add or get 7 friends as fast as possible. And other apps like Slack found this out when you send a few thousand messages, for example, and every single big company found that moment and rushed all the people to achieve that moment because they knew they would never leave. So why are kids leaving before that moment? Because that's obviously the first hook we're talking about, and that's because you're burying it. Like you've got something going on at the start that's burying your number one most important moment to keep players around, and that's either too long of the tutorial, too many menus, big explanation, like all this junk in front of them. That's basically like, you don't need to beat around the bush. That's why these top Roblox games are very simple. You spawn in, you steal the brain rot, boom, you're hooked. That's their Facebook moment, okay? Stealing your first brain rot. And it's so simple. You spawn in, and within the first 5 seconds, you're already walking up to the line of brain rots, and you're getting the Tim Cheese. Like, think about how backwards that is. Like, the one thing that would have hooked him, and you're hiding it around all this nonsense, right? Like all this boring setup that just makes him leave in the first few minutes. He quits your tutorial and never even finds like why your map was good. You wasted all this time building it, and he's not even hooked. So the fix for this first drop is simple but brutal, right? Just strip everything between spawning in and that first fun moment. He doesn't need a 5-step tutorial. Like even if your game needs 5 steps of a tutorial, there's too much. He needs to be doing the fun thing within 10 seconds, okay? Under the first minute. So cut all of it. The shortest possible path from like spawn to, oh, this is fun. You can teach the deep stuff later on how it all works. You shouldn't even have to teach them, by the way. Like your map should be so simple that they just know what to do instantly. But just teach them after they already care, because hook them first and then make them care. If you want me to look at your map or any of your numbers, literally just send me a DM with your map code or map on Twitter or Discord, and I'll take a look personally for free, and I'll let you know what I think. So the second drop is a bit later in, and this one's sneaky, right? Because now they're kind of leaving like kind of weird. Because these kids actually did get hooked. Like they made it past the start and they kind of felt the fun, but then they leave anyway. So what happened, right? So it's usually one of two things. Either one, they got confused, or two, they got bored. That's it. Like right in the middle. So confused means they hit a moment. This guy where they just obviously they didn't know what to do next. And here's the thing about that kid is when he's confused, he's not gonna stop and figure it out. All right, he has a hundred other games he can on the discovery page. He doesn't have time for the BS. Okay, he's got other stuff to do. These kids are used to scrolling 100 reels a day, so the button is right there to leave, and he's gonna press it. So he just closes your mouth. And confusion is usually like you're giving him too much. So we talked about this before, but there's only like four things that he can hold. So if this is your game screen, and you're giving him like 100 menus, like your coins, your gems, your currencies, tutorial maybe up here, the Fortnite map up here, the Fortnite inventory, the custom inventory, and then some other crap on the screen here that he has to go through, and maybe an arrow, tutorial arrow. Like hide all this stuff for later. Just let them join in. Remove all the UI. Okay, just get him to complete that first action that's gonna make him stick. The same thing Facebook does, the same thing Slack does. All these companies, they focus on getting them to perform that one action that's gonna make them stick. So strip everything, remove the UI for now. You can add the UI later. For now, tutorial on the screen, tell them to perform the action you want them to perform. So in Steal the Brain Rot, let's say the action that gets them that 70% day one retention is getting your first brain rot and stealing someone's brain rot for the first time. So one, on the screen, it should literally say, get Tim Cheese. That's it. Nothing else on the screen yet. Okay? Now, they know what to do. They see Tim Cheese. They get Tim Cheese. Okay, boom. Now the second tutorial, to get them to perform that action for the day 170 retention, would be to steal someone else's brain rot. So then that's your second thing. And after that's all completed, okay, then maybe you can start showing all the UI that you actually need. Because confusion is also like, when there's a moment where nothing tells him where to go or what to do, then he's just out. And boredom just kind of means that, the fun flatlined. Because they got hooked now, okay, here's their fun, because now you hooked them, right? So if your graph looks like this of people leaving, to fix that, your fun has to go up. So once your fun goes up, so the blue is your fun, for example, right? Then if they leave when they're bored, then the fun kind of just like flatlined. Like the exciting part here ended, and now it's just a slow grind with no payoff. Like no new goal, no next win, just nothing, so really. So for this middle drop that we talked about, for example, here, this is boredom. Okay, that's clearly boredom, the flat line. So go play your own map and find that spot. Most of you, like 99% of you, won't have this. If you've already achieved this, then I know you're doing something right. Because then you understand the first 60 seconds, the first 5 minutes, and 99% of people don't actually know this. And that's what I'm here to help you guys with, to actually get to that point where your graph looks like this. Because that's the next step, right? First, you start off really bad. Everyone's leaving in the first 1 minute. Then everyone's leaving in the first 5 minutes. And then everyone's leaving in the next 15 minutes. So that's good. But where does it get confusing? Where does it get boring? Where does it go quiet? The fix is to make sure that, there's always one clear next thing to do, and always, a next win coming for the player. For example, in Steal the Brain Rot, there's always an uncertainty if someone's going to steal your brain rot. So you're always in the moment, always aware, always something in the back of your head saying like, oh wait, someone might steal my brain rot right now. And that loop is very important. Like if you understand what I'm trying to say, like there's always something happening because there's always a chance of someone stealing your item. It's extremely smart. So never let them sit there thinking like, what now? Or, this got bored. And another reason for this drop off, like a bit more at the end here, why people quit there, it's, they kind of beat the game, they maxed everything out, they saw it all, and now there's no reason to basically keep playing. So they're gone for good. So for the fix for this is pretty simple. Just don't make it so they're ever able to truly finish. Like these brainwalk maps, for example, they never have a ceiling because there's always a new rarity, new mutation, and it's like an infinite mix of like if you get a rainbow secret, you'd be like, oh, that's really good, and all of a sudden there's a level above that. Now there's an event secret rainbow character, and now oh, there's a new level, a new ceiling. So there's never a ceiling you reach. You always think you're about to hit the ceiling, but you never do. There's always more, there's always better. And we talked about this previously, but you know, playtime doesn't really matter that much. What matters is retention. Because if you have 10-minute playtime, but 50% day 7 retention, then that's 100 minutes average playtime. So that's all that matters, which is your retention. But what I'm mentioning now is also retention, right? Because getting the person, the kid, to perform that action to keep them hooked is not just hooking them for playtime. It's hooking them for day 1 and day 7 retention as well. Like for Facebook, like we talked about, if you add 7 friends, they never leave the platform. And it's the same for your game. If they perform that action that gets them hooked, okay, their session time might go up. We don't really care about that too much. What we care about is, okay, now they might come back in 7 days because now they're hooked to our game. So there it is, 3 drops, 3 totally different problems. The first problem is they never get hooked. So strip the junk like we talked about and rush them to that one part that gets them like how Facebook does it. In the middle, they got confused or bored, so keep it clear. And make the wins, you know, infinite and keep them coming. And the end drop that we talked about is that either, you know, they finished it, so never let them run out of like stuff to do and always give them a reason to come back. Now go look at your own graph. That's what I want you to do. Find your free drops. If you are not sure about this stuff, I'll personally look at your map for free. So all you have to do is just join the Discord. The Discord is Map Mastery. If you want me to look at your map or any of your numbers, literally just send me a DM with your map code or map on Twitter or Discord, and I'll take a look personally for free, and I'll let you know what I think. All right, peace out, boys.